Hello guys, this is DaKingOfDogs here for my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass DLC predictions. This is another Google Slides video thing, and just like the last one, just like my top 10 underrated Pokemon, this is going to be unscripted. So let's start out with a few things that will be taken into account. Data mines for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are going to be taken into account. There will be at least one fan favorite track per cup. I think I meant to say not per cup, per wave. Ignore that it says per cup, it's meant to be per wave. I'm going to be somewhat considering what's currently in tour. However, this doesn't matter much, as Coconut Mall and Shroom Ridge have both shown that courses can be added into the DLC before tour. Tracks with no known game of origin will not be predicted, so the datamine leaks, there are 7 tracks, I believe 7, that don't actually have any known game of origin. And before we get into the actual predictions, I'm just going to say what I think those are. Those are going to be RMX tracks, trick tracks, reverse tracks, and reverse trick tracks, which are just, so the RMX tracks are basically just remixes of SNES tracks, completely new tracks based on the SNES tracks. And then the reverse tracks, you're playing the tracks in reverse. Trick tracks, you have a bunch of ramps. Reverse trick tracks, it's reverse and there's a bunch of ramps. And city tracks with more variants will be appearing earlier in the DLC. So, let's start with Wave 2, the Turnip Cup. And my first course for Wave 2 is London Loop. Why? Well, it already has free variants, and I think because of that, they'd put it in fairly early. Second track, Mario Circuit 2, there's gonna be a Mario Circuit. There's gonna be an SNES Mario Circuit, and I think Mario Circuit 2 is probably their best choice. N64, Calamari Desert is track free. You may be wondering, oh, why not Wario Stadium? Well, for one, that shares its music with Royal Raceway, and yes, they could make a remix, but a new remix. But another thing is that there's already a Wario Stadium, and I know that that Mario Circuit 2 would be the third Mario Circuit in the game, but there's just a bit too much overlap with Wario Stadium. Plus, it's a very long track. But with Calamari Desert, the main reason for Calamari Desert being in this wave, well, for one, it's a very beginner-friendly track in the second wave, which is, I feel like it would be a bad idea to put it any later. But I also feel like Calamari Desert would be really interesting in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because of how they're dealing with the tour tracks. So for those who don't know, Calamari Desert has a variant in Mario Kart Tour, Calamari Desert 2, which has you go inside of the train tunnel, and I'm thinking using the same mechanics they used in Tokyo Blur and Paris Promenade with the red arrows. They could direct you into the tunnel on the final lap. And finally, DS Delfino Square. Gotta have that good old. This cup needed a fan favorite. I'm not sure if too many people like Calamari Desert. I'm personally sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But we're moving on to the Propeller Cup, which starts out with Los Angeles Laps, another track that has free variants, and it's a summer track. which is important because it's a very summery track. It works great for the summer aesthetic, which I think is perfect because Wave 2, I expect it to release anywhere from late June to early August. Second track, GBA Bowser's Castle 2. I think we're going to get a Bowser Castle, and I think it's going to be GBA Bowser Castle 2. That's all I can say about that one. And finally, for the Propeller Cup, Wii Koopa Cape. And here we have the first unknown track, which could be an RMX, a trick, a reverse, or a reverse trick. We don't know. And next up is Wave Free, the Rock Cup. So Wave Free's first cup is the Rock Cup, and I think it'll start out with Vancouver Velocity. Now, this is notable because currently it only has 2 variants. However, I think they could actually introduce its third path in Mario Kart 8 before adding it to Tour. It's a very far-fetched idea, but I think it is possible. Second is Luigi's Mansion, DS Luigi's Mansion. If we assume this releases around November, December, DS Luigi's Mansion would probably be a good choice for that Halloween time, and it could be a little late, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be late either way. They're not releasing this in October. GBA Yoshi Desert is our third track. I didn't really have a reason for choosing Yoshi Desert. I just felt I just didn't think any other track would work based on my criteria. I'm not gonna get into why this matters, but I think Yoshi Desert could probably come around the Rock Cup. And Rosalina's Ice World would finish out the Rock Cup. It's an ice track. This is probably releasing around November, December. Moving on. The Moon Cup would open with New York Minute. If it's not obvious, there's definitely a theme going on with that cup. Because the moon, New York City. Yeah, moving on. Mushroom City. Oh wow, 2 tracks, 2 nighttime city tracks in a row. And finally, Wario Shipyard. It's a 3DS track that's in Tour. That's pretty much my only reason for choosing Wario Shipyard. And then Wave 4 would open up with Berlin Byways. This is where things get interesting, as Berlin Byways, I'm pretty sure only has 1 variant so far, but I feel like they could still release one before 2023. DK Summit would come next. If we assume this releases around February, or possibly even January, I think DK Summit would be a good fit. And finally, Waluigi Pinball. Oh my gosh, I put two fan favorite tracks in one cup. And then Wave 4. Hey, wait a minute. Sydney Sprint has 2 variants. And yes, I did put Sydney Sprint, the Australian track, in the Boomerang Cup. But Sydney Sprint, they could definitely get a third variant out before 2023. I think that could happen in the summer. Then Dino Jungle. It's one of the few GCN tracks in Tour. Next up is Sunset Wilds. It is a GBA track. It is in Tour. Not much else I can say other than, the desert aesthetic it could work for a Boomerang Cup. And we finish off Wave 4 with Merry Mountain, which, if we assume this wave releases around January or February, it could definitely work out. Wave 5 starts off with the Feather Cup, which would start off with Singapore Speedway. And this is where things get interesting, as that is the last currently available city track. Okay, that was a mistake. Mushroom Gorge is our Wii track, Cheep Cheep Island is our GBA track, and Tour gets a new track. So there's something called Rocky Road, and there's something I want to talk about real quick. So first of all, the Feather Cup and the Boomerang Cup both get 2 tracks from Tour. Yet there's currently only 2 Tour original non-city tracks, Merry Mountain and Ninja Hideaway. Ninja Hideaway is already in the game. So why Rocky Road, and why do I have a picture of ice cream? Well, in this image of the data mine, we can see it's very pixelated, but you can see what appears to be a giant ice cream cone. And that's why I think the Feather Cup will include a track known as Rocky Road. Moving on to the Cherry Cup, we start out with Amsterdam Alleyways. I'm not gonna go too into detail about the next few city tracks, so let's move on to GCN Daisy Cruiser, a fan favorite track, I'm sure. And finishing it off is SNES Vanilla Lake 1. The Acorn Cup, the first cup of the final wave, only has a mere 2 tracks that we know the game they're from. First up, we got Cairo Circuit. Imagine if you actually leave the city and go up the pyramids. That would be cool. And Maple Treeway, need that fan favorite track. And here we go. Spiny Cup. We're starting out with Bangkok Backstreets, a nice Thailand-themed track. But we're moving on to Wario Coliseum. Now, you may be thinking, oh, the tracks are all ported from Tour. Wario Coliseum is too big for Tour. There's no way it's getting into the Mario Kart 8 DLC. But hear me out. Yoshi Valley is in Mario Kart Tour. That's not enough for you? What about the fact that 3DS Rainbow Road is in Mario Kart Tour? Those are 2 pretty big tracks, and they're in Mario Kart Tour, so I think Wario Coliseum has a shot. And the final track of the DLC. Yep. I'm predicting it. I'm predicting that they're going to skip GBA Rainbow Road, GCN Rainbow Road, and DS Rainbow Road. They're just gonna completely skip those Rainbow Roads. They're gonna completely scrap the whole let's do the Rainbow Roads retros in order. We're gonna get Wii Rainbow Road as the final track. And that's all I have to say. Farewell!